My favorite stories to cover are stories that open up other conversations that we should all be having. Like, for example, this story about this Cybertruck incident with Matthew Livelsberger. That has reopened the conversation that we were already having right here on this channel about these mysterious drones flying in the sky. You know, this story about the Cybertruck has brought a lot of new eyes and a lot of attention to the drone story that we've already been covering here on this channel for months now. And it has opened up this conversation that I think we should all be having about this new age technology and electric vehicles, and how safe are they? Are we being watched? Are we being spied on and tracked every step of the way when we're in these vehicles? You know, personally, I've never trusted a lot of this new technology that, you know, they've put in cars these days. I really think Teslas are pretty cool. The Cybertruck is pretty cool, but I don't necessarily trust them. I definitely do not trust the self-driving features, self-driving taxis and stuff like that in cities. It scares me because all it takes is someone to hack into one of these things and they're turned into like little mini missiles, projectiles. You know what I mean? And I've always been scared, like, what if we reach a point one day where, let's say you say something that maybe you shouldn't say on social media. Let's say I make a video exposing something that I probably should have stayed away from. Who's to say that we don't hop in one of our electric vehicles and somehow, some way, someone takes over and the self-driving feature flings us straight off a freaking cliff or something? You know what I mean? Those are things that we really, truly have to worry about. It's not far-fetched. It's not a thing of science fiction, folks. The future is now. The future is now. These things could be happening now, are most likely happening now, and we've already had several tragedies with these self-driving vehicles and everything like that. But this Matthew Livelsberger Cybertruck story, it stirred up a real conversation because if you look at the investigation, if you've watched the press conferences or if you've followed the story, it's very clear that that Cybertruck provided a lot of information to the investigators, right? And it's a good thing now because, hey, maybe this is a bad guy that was doing something crazy. So you may look at that as a good thing, but how could this be used against innocent people? How could this be used against whistleblowers or people who want to expose things? Maybe Matthew Livelsberger was one of those people. He claimed to be in his alleged email, if that was even real. But then again, we don't even know if that is real. And there is the mystery of, did that Cybertruck, was Matthew Livelsberger really driving it? Was it driving itself? And sure, Elon Musk can come out and say the autonomous driving, the self-driving feature wasn't in use. Can we really trust that? I don't know. I don't know who to trust anymore. So I think there is a conversation to be had here. And this is the perfect story to highlight that conversation that we should be having about these vehicles. Because this isn't something that we have to worry about in 20 years. We have to worry about it now in the present day. Like I said, folks, the future is now. You could think that all of this stuff is far off. It's here. It's here. But I want to go ahead and roll this news clip because they were actually discussing this on the news. And after this clip, of course, I'll be right back to rant a little bit more because I got a lot more to say about this situation. So let's go ahead and roll the clip, and then I'll be right back.
Only uncovering details about the suspect, but also about his vehicle. From the data from that Tesla truck that blew up, investigators have been able to piece together exactly how the suspect actually got there and what happened. You might be shocked to learn just how much that Tesla and other car makers snoop on everybody's driving, and not just alleged criminals. And you may not even know it's happening. For example, an investigation revealed General Motors was collecting consumer data, driving data over the past several years, and then sending it to insurance companies, which then adjusted the premiums of those drivers accordingly. You can also choose to have your insurer track you for a potential discount, I guess, provided you're a safe driver. But if you speed too much or if you brake too suddenly, you could be charged more. It feels like the battle between the convenience and excitement of new technology and the preservation of our privacy was decided a long time ago. And spoiler alert, privacy lost. News Nation investigative correspondent Rich McHugh has been digging into all of this and joins us now. Rich, this is kind of incredible.
Yeah, and it's kind of alarming, too. For those of us watching it, it was a little bit shocking. One thing was abundantly clear as we were watching these press conferences roll out in the days after this Tesla Cybertruck explosion, just how much data that Tesla Cybertruck was collecting on 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger, who was driving it. So it raises questions. With this new technology come real privacy concerns. Take a listen. When the explosion sent shockwaves across the country, there were few answers from federal and local authorities. In fact, some of our first answers came from a post on X by Elon Musk. Quote, "We have now confirmed that the explosion was caused by very large fireworks and/or a bomb carried in the bed of the rented Cybertruck and is unrelated to the vehicle itself. All vehicle telemetry was positive at the time of the explosion." Vehicle telemetry, in other words, transmitting data. When the Las Vegas Metro Police and the FBI weighed in, it was clear. Every day they gleaned more information from the data that Cybertruck transmitted.
I have to thank Elon Musk specifically for being able to capture all of the video from the Tesla charging stations across the country, and he sent that directly to us. We tracked his movements through the Tesla charging stations to Monument, Colorado on December 30th. On the 31st of December, the truck was charged in Trinidad, Colorado, Las Vegas, New Mexico, and Albuquerque and Gallup, New Mexico. Those Cybertrucks contain a tremendous number of cameras.
And Tesla was able to confirm to us using the data from the vehicle that the vehicle was not in full self-driving mode at any time during this incident.
While they have recovered the microchip from the Cybertruck, they have not shared any video from inside the truck. But it's the most high-profile demonstration of how modern cars collect information on their drivers and those around them. According to a 2023 Mozilla Foundation report, more than 75% of car brands said they can share or sell driver data. 84% said they can share drivers' personal data. 76% say they can sell it.
The reason that these cars are so great is that they connect to your phone, but the double-edged sword of that is that all of that information then runs from your phone into that vehicle. And the recordings that that car is constantly making are also maintained by that company. And once they have that data, there's very little restriction on what they can do with it.
So, two things here, Elizabeth. Number one, consumers need to be aware about this. Number two, this poses a quandary for law enforcement. In this instance, Tesla was very forthcoming with the information in the video, but you can easily imagine a scenario where they might not be forthcoming, or a different scenario, and what is law enforcement to do?
Yeah, I knew my phone was spying on me. I didn't know my car was.
Just like she said, we all already know that we're being spied on our phones, on our tablets, on our computers. They're listening to us 24/7. Now our cars are spying on us too. And it's like we are ready and willing, not me and not necessarily you, but most people are ready and willing to just trade away their privacy in exchange for some cool new features in their car that they're probably never going to use. You use it one time, oh, that's cool. You know what I mean? Like, I'll say this. I think one of the best investments someone can make right now is buying an older vehicle. Like, buying an older vehicle. At this point, like, you know how people doomsday prep and they buy, like, you know, all these canned goods and all this food? I think one of the smartest purchases someone can make, and probably one of my next big purchases, will be just buying an older car that's in good shape, that isn't hooked up to any of these systems, it doesn't have any apps in it, it ain't none of that. We don't want none of that, right? You need to buy a car that was made before they were doing all of this nonsense. Because another thing I worry about, let's just say, when you look at the possibilities, we know we already got drones in the sky. Let's say we had an EMP attack that would wipe out all electrical vehicles. Or, hey, the government, the powers that be, whoever, they could shut down your car whenever they want. They can choose when you drive. And then, like they were explaining, now, good God, you pumped the brakes too much this week. Your insurance is going up. How dare you pump the brakes too hard? Now we got to charge you a few more dollars every month for your insurance. Do you want that, folks? Do you want them creeping into every aspect of your life? Because that's another thing that this is about. You might not care. I don't give a damn if they're spying on me while I drive to the grocery store and do my normal everyday shit. I understand. Okay, cool. But this is how they step in. Oh, God. Looks like you drove a couple of miles over the speed limit. Now we're going to have to charge you for that. They're going to track everything and they're going to charge you for everything. It's going to be absolutely insane. But switching over to the Matthew Livelsberger aspect of this whole situation, because like I said, this has opened up a whole nother conversation that's important to have, by the way. Seeing just how trackable this truck is, right? It's like the most trackable vehicle on Earth. The most stand-outy vehicle you could think of. It just sticks out, right? It's unlike any other vehicle. You don't blend in a Cybertruck. And Matthew Livelsberger, I don't know him personally, but for him to be doing what he was doing in his profession, he had to be a smart guy. So he had to know that, hey, this truck is easily tracked. We got video footage of him every time he stopped to recharge his car and stuff like that, right? They're recording you and following you there too. So if he was really paranoid about being, followed and watched by government agencies and they were out to get him, I just don't understand why he chose the Cybertruck. It's just weird. It's a weird choice of vehicle. If you're trying to maintain a low profile, if you're on the run, if you're paranoid, you're being watched, you're being followed, you're being tracked, the Cybertruck is like the last vehicle you want to use. But then again, in his supposed email, he states that he was maintaining a public profile. So I'm thinking that possibly, if what he says is true, which we don't know, he could have been having a mental break. That's very likely as well. But if what he was saying is true, then maybe he chose the Cybertruck because he felt safer in the Cybertruck because it stuck out. Like you were already making a scene by being in it. And the more seen you are by the public, the less likely something will happen to you in front of everyone. I don't know. I'm just trying to, I guess, think about what was going through his head and why he made that decision. But it's a very odd decision for sure to choose the Cybertruck. But you let me know what you all think about all of this down in the comments below. I know it's a lot. But like I said, I'm interested in having this conversation. And I think more people need to be talking about stuff like this. While you're down there, though, subscribe if you haven't already. Ring that notification bell so you can be notified of my uploads. Hit the thumbs up. We got to get more thumbs ups on these videos. It helps the channel and the algorithm. And with all of that being said, I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.